Well, it was a extremely competitive game. We knew it was going to be. Quite frankly, I was a little bit surprised the margin of victory in the second half. Maybe our players had a tremendous amount of confidence, but I thought the turnovers were really critical. Us being able to control the line of scrimmage, that was really important. I thought defensively, we gave up some yards, but did a good job keeping them out of the end zone, and it's very rewarding to come up with a back-to-back national champions.
Sounds good.
We went into the locker room at halftime and talked with our coaches and realized that we didn't really have a lot of adjustments because most of the stuff that we were doing was working and it was going the way that we planned it to. And at halftime, they told us, once we get back out there and get the ball, we're just going to take it and start pounding it. Like it worked all year long. Once we get the ball in the second half and keep pounding the ball down the middle, eventually they start bending and breaking. And as you can see, things started moving and broke a couple plays off, and then next thing you know, score ended up like it was.
I'll go ahead and grab it.
Sprock.
Coach Viggs is a mastermind for an offensive coordinator. He always puts us in the right position. There's no panic whenever it's a close game. We just trust the play call, and we try to go out there and execute the play as best as possible. And Coach Viggs just does an awesome job. We love him, and we think he's the best that we can have, and we really appreciate what he does for us.
Right up here, David.
David Jimenez, AP coach. Can you kind of go through that 2-point conversion, kind of bot snap, and kind of what went through your mind as you saw the play unfold there?
Well, it looked like a disaster waiting to happen when it first started, and we had a low snap. We do work on, a 2-point play when there's a errant snap, but quite frankly, that was not drawn up how we've practiced it. I thought it was pretty resourceful by Adam Keller to take the ball. I saw him throw the ball up in the air, and then I'm thinking, my goodness, is this a lineman who's caught it, which it was. Fortunately, he had an eligible number, and nobody had gotten down the field. Right when that happens, sometimes there's days, plays that happen in the game, you think, you know what, this is probably going to be our day. And so a play that, we had never planned or designed turned out to work extremely well.
On some of the runs, too, that I think you had for the first time this year.
You know what? 3 weeks they gave us to game plan these guys, and so we thought we were going to come out with everything in the books, and got to practice them quite a bit over these last 3 weeks, too. And, we put in the reverses, with the jets, we call them. Too, and we ran a lot of them. That was a lot of running. But we got a good game plan against these guys and worked out pretty well.
Season in Sam Houston.
Yeah, we felt coming into the game Sam Houston was a better football team. They certainly had more weapons. I think during the course of the game, their quarterback belt getting nicked up had an impact, and certainly Flanders, I think was not completely at 100%, but the game was really closer than what the score indicated, and the yards kind of indicate that. I do think we were very opportunistic today. The turnovers were really critical, and I don't know how many have turned into points, but a lot of them. So, I have a great deal of respect. I want to say and congratulate Sam Houston. I should have done that at the very beginning, because the thing about this playoff format is somebody ends up losing, and they had a great year, and Coach Fritz has done a great job, and that's a better football team than what they were last year, and so we're really pleased to beat them.
Marcus, why don't you comment on that?
Like Coach said, these guys are a better team than last year. They came in with a good game plan. Especially on the offensive side. Their game plan was they didn't care who was that cornerback. They were going to throw the ball. They were just going to keep throwing it. But our coach told me, Coach Kleiman, he said, it's good that they're throwing the ball because you're going to make it plays to end the game or just turn the game around. And I just bought into that, and I just try to do my job as well as I can.
Okay, David.
Oh yeah, that's a big turning point. Whenever a team scores a touchdown, but it gets took off the board, it's big because it gives us more momentum. And in football is a game of momentum. I mean, if it's up, you're up, and if you're high, you're high. In this game, we needed as much momentum as we could, and them not getting that touchdown and us getting the turnover was big for us.
A sacrifice and dedication by everybody in our organization. It was certainly a long process. I also want to acknowledge my mentor, Tom Osborne. During the time that I had a chance to coach for him at Nebraska, we had an opportunity to do this, and it's very hard to do. And the legacy that he's left, left a blueprint for me personally on what were the key points to put things in place from a program standpoint to get it done. And once that was in place, and I think our assistant coaches and our players had done a phenomenal job, everything from our strength and conditioning staff to assistant coaches and the whole process. And so it's very rewarding. It's extremely hard to do. And it's, once you do that, I think you now have transitioned your program into, a pretty premier program when you've been able to go back to back.
Back up top.
Marcus, I was just going to ask you real quick about the fact the last 6-7 year of people really have stopped throwing at you, and today they kind of did try to go after you a little bit, and you responded with the 2 interceptions. Just talk about how exciting that was for you to actually be in the game and have a chance to make some plays.
I mean, it's very exciting if you can get an exception. I mean, because it changed the game around, and I was telling our guys. Our offense is going to score. We just got to give these guys good field position. And what was happening at the beginning of the game, the offense was starting on inside the 10-yard line, and I mean that's not good for it. It's not good for any offense. So me getting those picks, I mean, it just changed the field. It changed momentum, like I said before, and it was just big. I mean, it wasn't just me; it was the whole team. It was a whole team deal, and I give credit to those guys on Sam Houston. They played well, but it wasn't their day; it was our day.
We're a really physical football team. We're going to be disciplined, play all 3 elements of the game. But when you really cut the veneer off the table, we're going to be really hard-nosed, stopping the run. We're going to be able to run the football, as Billy said, throw it when we need to, and control the football. And so that's our nature. The legacy of North Dakota State through and through and years has always been a hard-nosed, blue-collar, a tough mentality, and that's who we are.
Well, it's got to be the hardest thing to do in sports is to repeat a championship and go back to back. Especially a national championship. It's hard enough to repeat a conference championship, especially when you're playing in the MVC. But it takes a great deal of resiliency from a group of young men like us, and also our coaching staff. Can't say enough about them putting us in the right position, keeping us focused all year long, putting goals out there for us to be able to reach, and just driving us as hard as they can to just motivate us to reach those goals, because they know that they knew that coming into the year that there's a lot of potential for this team, and it just goes without saying how great these coaches are to really just motivate this team and make sure that we captured the goals that we had coming into the year.
Get back up on top again.
Jim Nelson, KBRFR.
Like you said, it did feel like a home game. Running out onto the field before the game started, seeing more than half the stadium in green and gold was it was definitely a sight to see for us. And having all of our fans down here was a big help for us. Just to get the momentum from the crowd and transition that into our playing was obviously a big deal for us. And with all the guys coming down here from up north, it really just benefited us more than anything. So, I mean, the crowd as a whole is, it's success for them, success for us, success for them. With them coming down here and helping us out, it just really carries our team on a lot further than we can go, just by ourselves. So congratulations to them too, I guess.
Ryan, would you comment too?
Yeah, I mean the crowd is. I think we have the best crowd in America personally, because they're crazy, and they get us pumped up and ready for games. Without those guys, I mean, it's hard. It makes football fun, a lot of fun, coming out there every day to play for those guys and seeing those guys cheer us on and through thick and thin. And yeah, I mean, look, they had a lot of fun, and so did we today.
Okay, well, time for one more question.
Consider an onside kick or anything like that?
Well, yeah, we certainly did. That was that was a plan, and I'm sure Coach Fritz knew that was going to be the plan also. He had his hands team out there, and so then we started to look and saying, is there a hole? And we tried to bloop kick it, something that, quite frankly, you go through a lot of preparation, but we've never worked on kicking off from the 35, the other 35. And so we were trying to be resourceful, make a play, hoping that we were going to loop the front line and come up with a fumble, not a fumble, but the recovery of the onside kick. I mean, everything we went through, a surprise onside to a real onside to let's go ahead and bloop it, and none of it worked.
Once again, congratulations.